Hello, my name is David DeKonty. This is my CEE 300 digital reflection for engineering practice. My professor was Thomas Seeger. And without further ado, let's get right in it. Today we're going to be discussing the Citicorp case and the ethics behind it, and whether the engineer William Les Miserables, was ethical or unethical. So just to start out, here's a quick picture of the building on the left there, and then some quick facts about it. New York City, 1977. It was steel, aluminum, 59 stories. Average building in New York City. So the story behind the Citicorp case is going to start out in the Princeton University, where a young girl named Diane Hartley was working on her thesis, and she decided to choose that building and analyze that building. She was doing the wind loads she's doing the calculations on that building, and she found that the wind loads, that the building wouldn't handle wind loads, basically, that it would collapse under a certain amount of wind. And so she was very baffled by that. So she sent these calculations into the building engineers, and they're like, "Hey, take a look at this. Your building, allegedly, according to my calculations, will fall over according to these winds." And they were like, "Yeah, you're crazy. This building's secure. We're good, and you don't need to worry about it." So she sends back, "Okay, well, can you send me your calculations? Because then obviously mine are wrong, and I need to fix them if I'm trying to get an A on this thesis here." And they're like, "Oh yeah, let's go find the calculations for her and put this issue to bed." Turns out they couldn't find the calculations, so they jumped on that. They were like, "Let's figure out these calculations." They got William Les Miserables working on that. They got everybody, and then turns out, they calculate out that if a 70-mile-an-hour wind or somewhere around there hit this building, then sure enough, it would collapse. And quick reason for this, it wasn't really anybody's fault. This just didn't happen. It was because in the beginning, all the plans were drawn up with welding connections. During the build process, at some point, it was switched to using bolts. They ran the numbers on that. Apparently, they didn't run the numbers very good, or the calculation slipped through the cracks on wind loads, because apparently, now wind loads were a factor that could destroy this building, and that was not seen. But bolts were used anyways, and that's why they are in this predicament here. But now Les Miserables has a tough decision. He said, "Well, I just built a building up there. I got a building up there, and now if a 70-mile-an-hour wind comes, it's over. So what am I going to do?" So it comes down to, what kind of decision is this guy going to make? And any decision in an engineer is going to be using some ethics. What kind of that's your decision. What kind of morals do you have? Obviously this is a moral decision. It's not ethical, moral, kind of go hand in hand. And so right out the get-go, he chooses to go in secretly at night and kind of fix this on the low. Not really to keep it on a need-to-know basis. Tell only who needs to know. Only who we need to get just to come in and fix it at night, and still let everyone work during the day. We'll come in at night, slowly fix things, and everything will be okay. Now, that was definitely a pretty risky situation, and we can see right on the screen, we got the ethics, the National Society of Professional Engineers, and the American Society of Civil Engineers. And so right at the get-go, these are the kind of things that are running through his mind when he's making this decision. The first whole paramount, the safety and health and welfare of the public, is that, yeah, this is definitely a building that could potentially fall. That's in the public, that public safety is going to be affected. So that's something you got to keep in mind there. The other one, though, is about third down there, is act for each employer or client as a faithful agent or trustee. He has an obligation to the clients who hired him. So, you can't just make them stop losing profits. You're saying you gotta keep their needs met as well. And then the last one would be avoid deceptive acts. He's going in at night. He's doing these different things. That's a little shady. That's a little deceptive. Come on, like, yeah. Um, but looking back at this, knowing that guy went in at night and fixed everything at night, it comes down to was he ethical or not? And everybody looking at it from an outside perspective, I think, would instantly look at it and be like, yeah, he's unethical. He's a sleazy guy. He didn't let the public know. He didn't follow the fundamental canons of engineering. It's that easy. It's that cut and dry, laid out. That's easy to say from an outside look, but I believe if you were to put yourself in his shoes and look at it that way and then give your opinion, At least me personally, I would have to then use decently ethical there. That was maybe not 100% ethical, but he was definitely making decisions that I would also potentially make as well. And so you got to risk it to get the biscuit. Now, granted, he wasn't really risking his own life; he was risking the lives of the people that were working in there every single day. Yes, that is understandable. That is, I can't get that, but if those people aren't in there working every day, that's potentially hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars. I don't know what kind of company is working in there, but with those floors all shut down and nobody working, that building isn't making money. And now they're spending money to fix it as well. So you're losing money per day, you're spending money per day. Basically, Les Miserables there cost his employer a bunch of money. Do you want that? And then everyone's thinking, oh, it's just money. Money or people's lives. Yeah, you say that, but in the business world, money is everything. Okay, like profits are cut for anything and everything. So, in my opinion, the more you put yourself in a situation, the more you can empathize with him, and I would agree with him more. But yeah, looking on the outside, obviously, a public announcement would have been the best route to go. But in his case, if I put myself in his shoes, then yes, I would probably go a similar route. Maybe let some more people informed. It would honestly all depend. The other thing is that I don't live in New York, so I wouldn't know the wind around there. But that could also affect my decision as well. Anyways, thanks for listening.